Yeah, it was cool.
Speaking of fun video,
Go for it. I know where you're going with this.
we're going to see a fun video when Tom Cruise goes to space.
Oh, I was so expecting a monkey on a motorcycle. Oh,
I mean,
Oh, that video is so crazy. No, this is huge. I don't know why. I guess we're saving the best for last because, in my opinion, this is one of the most exciting things that's happened in a long time. That NASA announced this week that they're excited to work with Tom Cruise on a film aboard the International Space Station. And then Administrator Jim Bridenstine goes on to say, we need popular media to inspire a new generation of engineers and scientists to make NASA's ambitious plans a reality. So it's already kind of coming out that it sounds like he's going to be launching on a Crew Dragon capsule and likely going to the International Space Station, or the film will take place on the ISS. He might not really do too. There's a lot of people being like, well, it's not saying he's going to the ISS. The film takes place on the ISS, but maybe, who knows? But if you're going to go to space, if they're already paying for the Dragon capsule, and if NASA already has it now, I think last year, 2 years ago, they opened it up. I think it was just last year they opened up the possibility of commercial activities on the International Space Station. Why wouldn't they film it on the international? Like, that just totally makes sense to me. I think that's.
I'm just imagining the astronauts up there like doing all their science stuff because their days are scheduled down to the minute, and here's like Tom Cruise acting out a scene around him, and they're like,
pew, 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 yeah, and they're just like blasters, and
he's having this like emotional moment
with Lord Zenu.
I thought Brad Pitt already went to Neptune.
14 pigeons. I don't know. I don't know how to do a Tom Cruise impression at all. Apparently.
Help you. Help me. That's how you.
Yep. That's when the thing goes. But regardless, there's a lot of polarizing, like, why are they saying like Tom Cruise? Like, guys, this is entertainment. I know you might not like Tom Cruise. You might not like that actor. Regardless, this will have huge impacts. Think about the reach that a superstar movie star like Tom Cruise, with the powers to be of Hollywood and all the money, producing a video that will be likely seen by millions, hundreds of millions of people, of him going up and even the experience of space. I hope the storyline's good, and I hope the storyline isn't just like some Gravity style where nothing actually makes sense with physics and stuff. But
like every Star Wars movie.
Gravity.
I feel like if NASA's this involved where they had to, give them permission to be on, I assume that the script is somewhat in line with.
No, don't assume that.
Well, okay, so Apollo
I'm
13.
sure they're all very much like, oh my God, it's Tom Cruise.
Didn't NASA? Like, I know that they didn't. They did the vomit comet for the weightless scenes in Apollo 13. I'm sure they would have killed to be able to actually go up and shoot in outer space somewhere. But I feel like NASA had some, maybe not like veto power or anything over the script, but they had some involvement with the script.
I remember
because I think they were flying the C-130. Is that the right plane?
I think it's an L-1011 or something weird. Anyway. Yeah. But yeah, I think they've had involvement like that, but this will be some involvement on another level where you actually have, mission control and people interacting real time with actual space missions and an actual actor in space. Does this mean will there be another film crew? Will there be one other person up there with a camera?
There have to be, yeah.
There has to be.
Assume.
Yeah, at least probably two or three.
Because what if they fill a whole Dragon capsule? They can't really keep them on station like that. What if, hold on, I'm dead serious now. What if, before this thing actually launches, what if another segment of the ISS gets launched and it's the commercial, commercial partner? It's the set or...
Yeah, they launched the set that docks with the International Space Station, and that's where they shoot it.
That would be incredible.
I wonder if there's going to be like any challenge. So let's say because the director's the one in charge, right? They're the one that's like, it's their picture. So
producer technically, but yeah.
Okay. But they're looking at it going, okay, here's what I want this scene to look like.
Yeah.
And they're in space and they're like, I can't get it to look how I want. Because in the way I wrote it in the script and the way we storyboarded it, the way, the 50 other steps to get to the point where I'm actually shooting it, we didn't know anything about space, so
We thought this room was going to be way bigger. Like what do you mean it's
where
only
is
this
the
big?
horse that I can ride on the outside of this thing? How
Or if they're
come?
like they see old footage of Skylab, which was I don't think it was 9 meters wide. I think it was 7 meters wide at that point. But a huge, and people are running circles, and they're like, oh, okay, so we'll have Tom run in the big ring, and they're like, okay, Tom, go ahead and let's find the big ring, and they're like, he's like, this is it. And it's just this tiny little, the ISS modules are relatively small.
I'm sure whatever they shoot, they're gonna have some mocked up version of it down here on Earth that they can practice in. And everything.
Well, they're probably going to be spending a lot of time at Johnson Space Center at the actual ISS mock-up. Which is
Wasn't
a full-size
Skylab
1-to-1.
to this day the biggest volume of pressurized volume of spacecraft ever? Or something
At
like
least
that?
for sure continuous. I don't remember if the ISS is now a little tiny bit bigger, but I mean, yeah, in one single launch on a Saturn V, they threw up a space station that's still in some respects better than the ISS. Think about if they had 4 of those things docked together. Four Saturn V launches was all it was going to take to do something like that. You could have had the coolest space station ever.
Were they actually planning something like that?
I think so. I think they were planning
Got to
to
talk to Amy about that one.
Yeah. I mean, they were planning to, that was just like the first of hopefully many like that, and it just kind of stopped. Skylab, rest in peace. Yeah, but I think to me, what do you guys think? I mean, in general, do you think this is a good thing? Would you rather see someone else go? What do you think?
There's nothing wrong with Tom Cruise.
No, Tom. I love Tom Cruise.
He's done fantastically for himself.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited about it. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, I'll love to see it too.
100%. Do we know what movie it is? It has to be Mission Impossible, like 10 or something, right?
I heard it's not a Mission Impossible movie.
Really? That would be would be the perfect, like, we've got to go to space for this one. Oh, great. And you have like Simon Pegg there, like, oh, great, here we go. You know what I mean? I could just see the whole cast. I could see the scenes already happening, right? And then he's like, okay, we have to sneak aboard the Falcon Heavy. Okay, I'm just going to hang on to the side of it as it launches.
Of course. And he'll do his own stunts. And
He could recreate the scene from the first one with the lasers where he's floating above.
But there's no tether holding him.
Yeah,
he's just actually floating. Yeah. But he does that anyway.
This is the worst gesture I've ever made in my life.
Spider Joe.
The fact that he does his own stunts is insane. So I don't know if you guys, I mean, it's totally off topic, but Chris Hemsworth posted a thing on Instagram, a story or video of like his latest movie that was on Netflix. And it's a very action heavy movie. He's, whatever, CIA bad guy kind of guy. And the stunts that he was showing, like the stunt guys doing a scene for him. Oh my God. No, never.
Mm-hmm.
Never would I take that job. Even if I'm like in the movies hanging out with these no, zero. Like those people are nuts that do that job. Like I can't imagine. Like the scene he shot, if you guys didn't see it, is like a dude, like a guy that's his stunt double, like rolls off of a roof, lands, hits the side of a truck, and then hits the ground, and then starts to crawl away. And the ground does have the pad that, if you've seen stunt stuff before, like it looks like real dirt, but it's a pad. But the truck and everything else was very real in the scene. And you just look at it like, dude, I'd be out for weeks. I'm done from that one shot. You know? And they could be like, oh, we didn't get it. Come on.
I think in the industry, though, some people don't respect the fact that Tom does his own stunts. Because
it's too dangerous.
It's dangerous. It's kind of almost an arrogant thing of like, why don't you leave it to the trained professionals? Like you're taking jobs away, that type of stuff. Blah blah blah.
So there's two different ways of looking at it. I mean, some people really do appreciate that he takes those risks and is willing to do that. But there's others. Who's the guy that I'm thinking of? I want to say it was Danny Trejo or somebody like that. But he was basically saying he doesn't do his own stunts because if he hurts himself, everybody's out of work now.
Yeah, the whole movie stops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two different ways of looking at it. I mean, Jackie Chan did all his own stunts and was, praised for it and broke every bone in his body at some point.
Yeah.
I think you just look at it. I don't know. Maybe you get to the level like Tom Cruise has been a A-lister movie star since like the year I was born, or even before. So I think maybe at this stage he just does what he wants. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm going to be on this movie. It's my movie. I bought the script. It's my production. Like, you know what I mean? It's one thing if you're just a regular actor. Like even someone like Chris Hemsworth, who obviously is incredibly successful, he still isn't even anywhere near the decades of success that someone like Tom Cruise has had. So it's just an interesting,
And I'm sure they if they can, they schedule the production around making sure that those big dangerous stunts are done at the end and not the beginning.
That's true.
But
that's probably true. I would hope that would be smart.
So I'm all for him going to space. Can't wait to see it.
That'll be exciting. I mean, that'll be a fun movie that will be coming soon. Speaking of movies that are coming soon, what are you guys working on?
Can I make one more point just real quick about the Tom Cruise thing?
Of course.
Well, it's relevant. The fact that it's the ISS or space in general is going to be opened up for things like movie production, I think only helps to accelerate this, the opening up of space in general. Mm-hmm. It's like kind of what Bridenstine was saying in that tweet. It's kind of like once people see that, it's not so foreign. It's not so exclusive anymore. I mean, although it's even
still
Cruise,
Hollywood,
yeah. But still, it's like
right.
I don't know. I'm not wording this very well. It sounded a lot better before I started talking. But I think it's an important step in this direction that we're going in, opening up space, both commercially and to people and for tourism and stuff like that.
No, I 100% agree. Like that is definitely, like, it'll be huge. And just seeing someone else, someone that that's the thing is like most people don't have a strong personal connection to astronauts going up. Even someone like me that I study this stuff pretty heavily. I think Bob and Doug, the first two that are going to go up on Crew Dragon, are probably the ones that I have the strongest emotional connection to recently in recent history because I have been watching a lot of their content, so I'm familiarizing with them. But a lot of people have a strong emotional connection to Tom Cruise, and and they're fans of him. So to see him do something like this, I think will be totally different than a professional astronaut doing it. Yeah.
Well, it'll have I think what maybe anyone that's upset about it, it's like, yes, obviously sending astronauts and doing science is super important and critical, but also getting, the next generation or two generations of kids excited about doing that science when they get older is also super important. And that's what Tom Cruise brings that any of your other astronauts don't, right? Is that worldwide
they're not taking
celebrity.
I don't think they're taking seats away from other astronauts. I think they're adding, a flight or, adding to the docket.
Well, if we're going to really dedicate and become a spacefaring civilization in one way or another, we have to find ways to make it valuable. Right now it's astronauts up there conducting scientific experiments, and it's like $50,000 a day to keep them up there, some crazy amount of money to support them. At some point we might be doing heavy construction. That's what Bezos wants to do up in space. This is just kind of a part of that process to me, like we have to open it up to other. If somebody can make some money by shooting a film in space, then the next thing might be somebody building something in space. It might be somebody, setting up a space hotel or something.
Yes. It's the start of the space economy.
Step by step.
Yeah,
I do wonder from a filmmaking standpoint, you can replicate anything you can imagine with visual effects to a very convincing degree. Mm-hmm. What are they going to film that it will be unique? Something that you couldn't just do with VFX here for obviously a lot cheaper. Yes, you did it, cool. But if the point of from the filmmaker perspective is I want something, like if I were doing it, I would want something out of it that like no one else can ever do something like that. What is that thing and how, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, for one thing, he's going to look bloated.
Yeah.
He's not going to look like Tom Cruise. All of his blood's going to be out like this.
Doesn't
Yeah.
it take like 2 days for it to kind of settle?
Maybe. I'm
I
just saying,
think.
like, that's always been something for me whenever you see space movies. Like, everybody just looks normal, but, you know, you look at astronauts and they're like, you know.
Well, they need to do what Story Musgraves does before he goes to space. Story's a very seasoned NASA astronaut.
Very storied astronaut.
Very storied astronaut. And before he would fly for 6 months, he'd sleep on a inverted bed or whatever, like an inverted bed, so the blood would rush to his head more, so his body would get used to like that. And he said that he's never had like sickness, never had problems sleeping on the space station. And no one else really does that, but he just always did for some reason. And I'm surprised they don't just make that a thing. So there you go, Tom Cruise. There's your tip on how to not.
He's got like an online course for future astronauts on how to prepare.
Yeah, that'd be great. Hey, thanks for checking us out, guys. I hope you enjoyed this clip from our podcast.
We do a weekly show here on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe to Our Ludicrous Future, where we discuss all the things that are going to make our future totally ludicrous.
You can join us here on YouTube or at any of your favorite podcast places. Plus, if you want to get some behind-the-scenes stuff and join a cool community, you can help support the channel at patreon.com. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.